Okay, beautiful, lovely. Okay, so welcome everyone. Thank you for being here with me. And I um I am very excited that we get to do this Akashic Record immersion. I love the Akashic Records, and I know that not everyone is familiar with how powerful they are, what they are, but perhaps you have heard of the Akashic Records and you're wondering how can I use, I don't even want to call it this modality, because unlike tarot cards or a pendulum or even a Reiki, this isn't really a modality. You're tapping into a living, intelligent, energetic force, as you will learn today. So perhaps before we start, let's write in your journals, in your notebook, what is love? What does love mean to you? We're not going to share this here, so just and if you're listening to this elsewhere and you don't have pen and paper on you, just come back to this before you go ahead and listen to the whole thing, just so you can keep up with us. So this is possibly not the kind of session you want to listen to while you are driving or, you know, in between pickups or cleaning sessions. You really want to create the space and time for this session. So just write, what is love? What does love mean to you? And then let's put that aside. And I've got a bit of an itinerary, because sometimes in my sessions, when we're connected to the Akashic Records or Spirit, they have so much to say, and we could be here all night, and we don't want that. We want to give you the juicy bit, and then so you can take that and use it. I always say we're on spirit time, because they do have sometimes a lot to say. So I have already opened the Akashic Records for this session, but we will go on our own journey, and we'll do it again. We'll open it together. But what I want to say before we go any further is that you may find that you feel sensations, perhaps in this session, perhaps something will drop in, perhaps you will feel emotional, because the Akashic energy, when it comes through, it's not just what you hear from me, the information that is going to be key. So it's not like me giving you instructions, you know, how to ride a bike, and then you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense, I'm going to jump on and I'm going to give it a go. That makes, you know, totally sense, like what we need to do. This is a little bit different. Your soul receives this information, so you will understand it on a deeper level. Before we dive into this session, I like to always do a bit of an invocation so that we can connect as a group, and that is quite powerful for all of us. So let's just close our eyes and just take a nice few deep breaths, just to bring ourselves into this moment, this session, into the center, into our body. As you exhale, let go of anything that happened today that doesn't belong to this session. Any worries, any thoughts, let them just stay outside for the moment. And of course, if you're listening to this and you're driving, please don't close your eyes. Don't do this. You can do this with your eyes open. As we're dropping into our heart space deeper and deeper, we're setting the intention to receive guidance, information. May the knowings that come through resonate really deeply. May we understand them and take from it what we need at this time. So I would like to call in our guides, loved ones, angel babies, any other benevolent being that wishes to assist in tonight's session. May all the guidance bypass our analytical mind and go straight to our soul for all the shifts and transformations to occur. I would like to call in our gatekeepers and ask them to send a circle around us to ensure that we only interact with beings of love and light. And perhaps just come together as this group in this circle, so just see yourself all coming together. Everyone who's here now, and anyone watching or listening to this in the future, your energy is already part of this circle. We welcome you. Give it a little smile, acknowledgement, and we connect energetically. Allow yourself to receive the love, the support, the encouragement from everyone else, and also release that same energy to everyone else. And this is how we absorb this in the best way. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. So when you're ready, just open your eyes and come back. So this session is about sharing with you how you can access your Akashic records. This session is about, it's not about healing or clearing. I do sessions where I bring guidance through for you. I do group sessions. We'll do soon in person as well here. But this particular one is more around learning how to do it yourselves. I really believe very, very strongly with every fiber of my being that this is a birthright. It has nothing to do with whether you're worthy, whether you're good, whether you're the chosen one. Accessing your Akashic records is really like asking, hey, there's this manual that I left behind. Can you flick to this page and tell me what do I do next? That's literally what it is. And the reason I am really emphasizing that it is your birthright is because my first experience with the Akashic records was during a 4 or 5 hour meditation session. My husband was there, my friend was there. I didn't go with the intention to connect to the Akashic records. I didn't even know that anything about the Akashic records, never even heard of them at that point. I wanted to connect with my dad who has passed away. And what happened was actually that I was seeing past lives. I was seeing my past lives. I was seeing my friends, my husband's. And as I was telling them, because they kept telling me to share with them in that moment, like everything was making sense. Things were clicking in. And not just because I said A or B and they're like, oh yeah, okay, I can see how that could work or that makes sense. It resonated on a soul level. So at that stage, I had no idea about the Akashic records or what was happening. But, and this is why I feel it's good to attend sessions like this and learn about the Akashic records if you are drawn to it, because we often feel like, no, this can't be true. Why would I be connecting to the Akashic records? Like, I'm not that special, I'm not that worthy. And that's certainly how I felt, which is why I needed my spiritual teachers to actually help me. Now, the other reason why I chose to find spiritual teachers to help me navigate through this is because I know we often feel like when someone says, and then one day I woke up and I had all these psychic abilities, or I could see spirit, that we think it's like at the drop of a hat, it happens. Now, I haven't read Harry Potter, but this is what I do know. When he found out that he has his magical powers, he still had to go and attend that school that he was at for all these books, you know, to learn how to use these powers. And the same happens when you find out that you're psychic or you're clairvoyant or you can see spirits or you can tap into the Akashic records. Because accessing the Akashic records is not the problem. I mean, as you will see today, we will go into the Akashic records, so you will get the step-by-step how. That's not the problem. Where we trip ourselves up is actually, you know, the worthiness thing, but also because we often don't know what to ask and how to ask. And when we don't know what to ask or how to ask, what happens is we're lost in it. So you may have heard, maybe, that the Akashic Records are like a library. And I will explain a little bit more around that. But yes, they are like a library if you need that visual. Yes, it's a library. It has books. Each book pertains to a particular soul or being. However, if you went to, I don't know, the city library, and you walked in there and you said to the lady, I need a book with a flower on the cover. Like, I can't remember the context. I can't remember the author. I don't know whether it's a documentary, whether it's a biology book, whether it's fiction. I just know there's a blue flower on the cover. Well, she'll have some sort of problem finding you the right book because, you know, it's very vague. And so people often think, you know, I've got a problem. I can go up there and ask, you know, is he going to marry me? Or should I stay in this job? And it's not that simple. Because the Akashic Records aren't an oracle, but rather an energetic field that responds to your energy, your thoughts, your emotions. So, what are the Akashic Records? The Akashic Records were described as this universal library. They were described as Book of Life by the Catholics. I believe Krishna described it as palm leaves, and everyone has their own palm leaf. However we see it, however we've been told it is, it will differ person to person. And I didn't understand at first, how is that? Well, is it a library or is it a book or is it, what is it? Is it a computer? Is it like Google? And so what the Akashic masters and teachers told me about this is that because we don't all see the world the same way, you will have a different view or experience of the Akashic Records than the next person. So this is where I had this disconnect at first, because my experience in that meditation session was I was taken somewhere that felt familiar to me. I felt like I've come home, but I could describe to you what it was, whether it was a library or not, because it didn't look like a library. And then when afterwards I was Googling, you know, that when people said, oh, I think you went into the Akashic Records, and I started Googling it, all the guided meditations where we're going to a library, we're opening up a book. And I got nothing when I did that. I felt like a deer caught in the headlights, because it's like, here we are, here's the library. Okay, ask a question, open the book. And I have nothing. Because that's not how I perceived it. My mind doesn't work that way. I am not or back then especially, my clairvoyance wasn't that strong, but yours might be. Which is why when I teach the Akashic Records, I always teach it in 3 ways: the visual, the channeling, and then the third one, which is a little bit more advanced, is actually projecting your consciousness into that energy field. All 3 ways, because I don't know which one will resonate with you, but I know I don't want you to think I have to see a library, I have to see a book, and if that doesn't resonate with you, then you will feel like, well, maybe I'm not meant to be accessing it, or maybe I can't do it, which is not true. Now, I have worked with a few people now who started with the book, with the library, because that felt comfortable for them, but now they can actually just sit in a busy shopping center and bring through information like that. So that is also possible. And I just want to say that we don't ever want to limit ourselves. We never want to use it as a crutch, that I have to use a pendulum, or I have to go into the library. Some people believe they have to fast for 3 days before they can access the library. Some think they are like Edgar Cayce, the sleeping prophet, and they have to go and sleep and in their dreams access the Akashic Records. So, you know, if that feels good for you and it's comfortable and you have no problems doing that, by all means, go with it. But don't feel like, oh, this is so hard, it's not working, maybe I'm not meant to be doing this. So, and today we will go up and we will be imbued by that energy, because that to me is what the Akashic Records are. I actually sometimes just like to go open my Akashic Records and sit in that energy. And especially if I had a big, busy day, because sitting in that love is, I can't describe it to you. My students couldn't describe it to you. What you will see, what you will experience, it might be even hard for you to put into words, but it's okay, because if you're reading for yourself, you know, and you experience this energy going through you, you might be so moved, you might cry. I get this all the time in sessions. I know when the Akashic Records are open, even when I didn't open them, because we get emotional. So how do we open the Akashic Records? How do we access them? Now, you may remember I said I did a meditation session that wasn't even going into the Akashic Records. It was completely different. And so we didn't use a prayer. And so when people were saying to me, I think you have access to Akashic Records, to me it didn't make sense, because I'm like, well, I didn't use the prayer. I didn't go into a library. I didn't do this. And so then when I discovered that there are prayers, these so-called pathway prayers, Catholic in me went, I don't want to use a prayer. I don't like it. So it took probably another amazing spiritual teacher to work with me and on me for me to actually enjoy. I actually love the prayer that I'm using now, because the purpose of the prayer is to raise your vibration. So you have to understand, while you can connect to your higher self and your guides, no problem. With the Akashic Records, especially when you're first starting out, it's really hard to connect if you're vibrating low, if you've got your head busy with things. You might be sitting there for a while. Or you might go into the library, open the book, and there's nothing there, because your mind will start to search for answers instead of just allowing the information to be shown to you. So the pathway prayer, or the prayer, I introduce my Akashic Record participants to 3 prayers, again for the same reason. We don't all resonate to the same one. My favorite one contains the words God woven through it, but not everyone feels comfortable with that. Not everyone likes the longer prayer. Some people like the shorter prayer. So I introduced everyone to 3 prayers. I said, there's 3 ways of accessing it that I like to use and show. There's 3 different prayers. And if you get to a stage where you don't need to use a prayer, just because Akashic teachers are telling you, no, you are not accessing the Akashic Records unless you use the prayers. You'll remember this moment. I went into the Akashic Records, perhaps through the back door, I don't know, but I didn't use a prayer. So it is possible. It is possible. But in the beginning and today, let's use the prayer. Let's do it all by the book, so that your mind doesn't go like, what are they doing? You know, like, and freaks out on us. So what kind of questions, what kind of guidance, what kind of information can we access in the Akashic Records? During World War II, American soldiers, I believe even German soldiers, were using the Akashic Records for remote viewing. From Catholicism, we were taught that God writes in the Bible, in the book of life, and takes note and tallies up, you know, whether you've been a good kid, a bad kid, watched too much TV. And that never really resonated with me. Why would God keep a tally? But the truth is, you update your Akashic Records in every moment, every second. Your thoughts, your emotions, your energy. So the fact that you've made the decision to be here, to watch this or to listen to this, you have already created another entry in your records that has put you on a particular path. Now, we won't have time to go into that because that connects to how we manifest, how we create things through the Akashic Records. I'll leave that for you to explore. But what I want to show you today is how we do it. So yes, you're doing it perhaps even unconsciously, right? You have a bad day, you focus on the bed, you focus on the bed, you focus on the bed. It's not like you're creating an awful chapter about yourself, but you're putting yourself on a different path than if you perhaps focus on the positive. But how do we know? So these are the kind of things you can ask the Akashic Records. You know, what do I need to know or do to get this job, or to grow my business, or to reconnect with my husband or my wife? What do I need to do or know, perhaps, to meet my true love? So these are the questions that you can ask around guidance. Now, yeah, you may have noticed they're not close-ended questions, and there's a whole chapter why not. But the basic gist is a human mind is kind of like you hear the answer. So let's say I'll ask, am I going to meet my true love tomorrow? And the guides will say no, because, but we don't hear the because. We just go no. That's it. In the Akashic Records, you hear the no and you're like, oh, great. And you've lost because you focus on the no. You lose your vibration. It starts to drop. And so you don't hear the rest of the message. Okay, this is how it happens. So they say it's better to avoid these close-ended questions. Guidance that comes through the Akashic Records is usually here to align you or connect you to your soul's purpose, which is different than ego, but it's better. It's in the highest good. It's like whatever you imagine for yourself, your soul wants something even better. You grow, you expand, you heal, you release things. So, for example, let's say you have a funky relationship with your mother. Perhaps as a child, she was narcissistic, she was abusive, maybe she was an alcoholic. Now, if you went up into the Akashic Records and you asked, why was my mother like this? Why did she do this to me? You know, like why? You're coming not from an expanded state, but you're coming from a victim state, which again, the energy is low around that. Plus, you're trying to tap into your mom's records, which we can't. We can't access anyone's records without their permission. So you may not get anything. But if you ask, how can I understand this relationship I had with my mom? Or how can I understand what she has done to me so that I can free myself from this pain, or I can move on, or I can have a better relationship with her? When you ask things like that, you are going to be shown not just why it happened, how it happened, and I don't even mean what they will tell you, what the information is in words, but you will feel the energy and it will release something within you. But also, they might show you perhaps a past life where you two were together. Maybe something happened. And it's like I've seen this with my clients in sessions overnight, like in that session instantly, things just cleared. The grudge they held or the pain they held on to all of a sudden was gone, like it dissolved. And this is why in my sessions, I don't actually really like to say you need 2 or 3 sessions to clear this, because I never know. It could be on several levels. Yes, we might have to go into a past life, but so many times I've seen things just clear in one session. So especially when you're doing this by yourself, for yourself, and you have the liberty of accessing these Akashic Records anytime, you can clear, you can grow, you can heal, You can find compassion towards maybe someone who's been toxic in your life, and not because they say you should or because the Bible says you should or something like that. You will have this deeper understanding. You will all of a sudden be so overfilled with love, overcome with love, that you can't help but feel empathic towards or compassion towards this human. They might show you their story, and all of a sudden you're seeing a different version. Honestly, you could even ask how to boil the perfect egg in the Akashic Records. You can ask, because every project, every hobby, every business, every career that you have has its own Akashic Records. So we can actually, this is what we do in our sessions, I can go and I can tell you what your business needs because I can see the energy. They're showing me, like, for example, whether it is feeling neglected or feeling like you're holding back on something. So there is this record created. My favorite story was when I've worked with a client who lived in a house, and she just didn't feel good in this house. She has husband and 2 sons. They were fine, but it was just her. When she was outside, she felt amazing. But when she went back to that house, she felt like ill. She felt flat. She felt like she was getting things all the time, picking things up. And so when we looked into the Akashic records of her, they said to look at the house, at the records of the house, and it turns out that her house was built on ground that were like a burial, a mass sort of burial where there was a lot of fights happening or something. But also before that, on this ground, men would gather from this tribe and they would sit. Women weren't allowed. It was like the sacred circle where men would sit around the fire and they were, talking or, doing whatever. And women weren't allowed to enter. So no wonder the man in her life felt okay being in this house. It was her who wasn't. And the Akashic records gave her suggestions on what to do, but the final one was, or the better one that she chose for herself, was to sell and move. And they even showed where the house is going to be, a lake, there's going to be a tree. But they didn't say you have to leave the house now. They said, okay, you can do this, or you can do this. So you can work with the house and you can heal it. She didn't want to heal it. She had other stuff going on. So she chose that path. And this is what I mean. You won't get from the Akashic records like this one answer that says, this is what you have to do, because this is your future. Nothing is set in stone. This is what I've learned from the Akashic records. So let me just check whether there are any other questions, and then I will just that I wanted to address. Sorry, I mean anything that I wanted to address, so that I don't forget it. Okay, so this is another important. So I mentioned to you that I love just opening my Akashic records and sitting in that energy for guidance. And I don't go with anything specific. I just want to be viewed by that energy. And some might think that that can be a crutch. We get used to it and we just want to spend time up there instead of being here humans. But here is the thing. With the Akashic records, it's actually impossible to just want to stay in that energy and just want to create from that place. Because if you go into the Akashic, if you think, okay, this is how I'm going to work my life, I'm going to go up into the Akashic records, I'm going to enjoy this energy, I'm going to create from that place or do whatever, but I'm not going to be active in my physical world. I'm just going to kick back, sit on the couch, do nothing for the rest of the day and wait for things to come to me. Well, the way the Akashic records work is that if you do that and you're not actually taking the deepening practices maybe that they're telling you to do, if you're not actually taking the opportunities that are coming your way. You're just kind of kicking back because it's going to happen anyway, apparently. It's like you are writing the same sentence over and over and over again on every single page, and nothing else is changing. So nothing will change, because remember, the Akashic Records aren't just a stagnant sort of, library. Like, if you went here to a library and you get a book about a particular topic, you just get the book and then you return the book. But this field interacts with you constantly. I mean, you have probably connected with the Akashic Records. You have been guided by the Akashic Records. Maybe you weren't even aware of it. So depending on your energy, on your thoughts, on your emotions, the field responds on a quantum level to you, sending you perhaps messages, opportunities, miracles into your life. But the practices they give you to do are very important, even if in that moment you don't understand the connection. If you don't understand the connection, it doesn't matter. Just do the deepening practices, because that helps to shift that energy, or shift your thoughts, or shift your emotions, so that you are in alignment with what the guidance was, or what you want to create in your life. So it's like, and this is why, instead of calling manifesting, I like to call it the co-creation, because it's like you go into the Akashic Records to say, okay, this is what I want. This is who I want to connect with, like this higher self, or I want to bring through these qualities, or I want to have a business that is making whatever amount of money. And they will bring through guidance. Now, often what happens with my clients, they're like, okay, so I have to work for this, right? But it's helping you. It's not like they say, okay, you got to, for this business, you got to sign up, to this website, or this strategy, or, put this into place, or get this structure going, or hire someone. The practices are more on a personal and internal level, but they're so important. So important. They're the ones that actually create that right environment, that right energetic field within you. And because you are in the center of the vortex, they say, it starts to vibrate around you and things start to move and shift. So this is how we manifest. This is just the tip of the iceberg, how we manifest. So it's not even just going and saying, what was my past? Or how can I understand what's happening now? Can you show me something in the past? Yes, the Akashic Records can show you past lives, past stories here in this lifetime, beyond this lifetime. They can go in the future. They can show you what is available to you. But most importantly is we always create from the here, from the now, from the present. So they will say, okay, but now this is what you need to do. This is what you need to, maybe it's write a letter to your mother, and then burn it or bury it. And that's where you get the release. Or perhaps buy a plant and nurture it, and set the intentions that this is perhaps the child you lost, and that will bring you healing. So in the moment, you may not understand it, but still, and I think it's harder when you are doing it through someone like me, as opposed to going in yourself. Even though I've seen my clients feel the energy coming through, it's so much easier this way when you're connecting, or it's purer, even more amplified. Okay, so I would like to take you on a journey now. So remember where I asked you in the beginning, what is love? We're going to go into the Akashic Records, and we're going to ask your Akashic masters and teachers to show you what love is, the way they view it, which means how you view it. And we'll see what happens. We'll see if the answers will be the same. Now, when I do this sort of exercise in a group, it's two help us discern between our analytical mind and the guidance that comes through. So plug yourselves in, get in a comfortable position. Again, if you're watching this or listening to this whilst driving, please don't do this. Come back to it. Let me just... May I read this out loud? Is that okay? Yes. This sounds like the information I access when I do intuitive Reiki healing sessions for clients. I just thought it was their energy field I access, but it's more like what you've just described. Yes, you never realized this is exactly what it is. And this is why I go like, well, see, you didn't go up into the library at that moment, but the Akashic records are everywhere. So us humans like to have a picture, have a visual, like what is it exactly? But it's more like a hologram that, you know, that is going to show or present itself in different ways to different people, depending on their level of awareness, understanding how their mind works. And I actually say to all my participants always that the Akashic records are everywhere. You are part of it already. We don't actually have to travel anywhere. We will travel today to give you that nice visual, but you actually don't have to. When we do the prayer, we create a shift. We project with our consciousness. We're going that way, and that's where the information will flow. We're just raising our vibration. So that's perfect. You are already there. Okay, so let us go on this little journey. And I'm going to ask the question with you, and you can, as it's happening, you can repeat it and then see what you receive. You might get pictures, you might get memories perhaps from your childhood, from, you know, something that happened that was pleasant. You might have a feeling, a sensation in your body. Sometimes you might see, feel things, but you can't put it into words afterwards. It's like it's your private own little experience, and that is fine. We will go into the library. We will open the book. But again, I just want to tell you, because we are doing this, you know, in this fun little session, you haven't done this maybe before this way. It's not about opening the book and seeing what's written there. It's about what is being presented to you. If you don't see the book, if I lose you somewhere on the way because you went off on your own somewhere else, perfect. Just go with it. Don't fight it. Don't feel like, oh no, Akasha's already over there in the library. I've got to catch up. No. Stay with that, because they have obviously figured out that, oh, you need this, and this is going to work better for you. Okay, so let me just tune in the music. If you wish to cover your eyes, then by all means, please do, because that might help you. All right, let me just get my music here. So get yourself ready, get comfortable, and we are about to begin. There we go. I just have to share this with you because you won't hear anything. Okay. Just tell me, is this okay when I'm speaking? Can you hear? Okay, thank you very much. Lovely, lovely. Okay. So just close your eyes. Take a nice few deep breaths in and out. As you inhale, just give yourself permission to fully immerse yourself into this journey. As you exhale, just let go of anything that feels heavy. Dropping into your heart center, exhaling, letting go more and more. Just take your time, breathing gently. I'm going to use a bit of energy to help you on my end. Feeling more and more relaxed. And just notice where you are right now. Are you in your head, where it's loud and busy, and there's a lot of thoughts and noise? Or are you perhaps in your heart, in your body, where it's nice and quiet? You feel safe. It feels like you're in this deep cocoon. If you're in your head, gently bring yourself down into your heart space, into your body. You can do this simply by deciding you're going to be in your heart, by visualizing yourself going down the elevator, all the way down to your heart. There's still some heavy energies, busy thoughts, just let them go. Let them go. Just listen to the music, the rain. This is your moment now. And so bring your awareness to your feet. Notice how firmly they stand on the ground. And from deep within the earth, an energy bowl travels up. You can pull it up. So just go ahead and pull it up. Allow it to come through your feet. Pull that bowl of energy up more and more. As it comes through your feet, just notice the color that it is. Focus on that color as it plops into your body. And as you become aware of its color, that color bursts out and goes all through your body, up your legs, down your arms, into the fingers, goes up along your face, and then back down along your back, going all through your body, all the way down. Now let's bring our awareness back to that energy bowl. Allow this bowl to travel through your chakras, activating them one by one. Here we go, going through the root chakra. Notice this beautiful, brilliant red chakra, this energy center. Allow it to activate. Going up to the sacral, activating this orange energy center. It's in perfect alignment now. Going up to your solar plexus, right there, that yellow energy center. Activate it now. Going up higher into your heart. See that beautiful green energy center activating now. Going up higher, past your throat chakra, activating it now. Going up along your face, through that third eye, indigo blue, activating it now. Up through the crown, activate the purple energy center now. Now you should see the bowl hovering above your crown. Just notice what color it is. I'm going to give you a moment now to place yourself into that bubble where you will be absolutely safe, and we will travel in that energy bowl. We're going up higher and higher. You will soon see clouds above you. I want you to direct yourself towards the clouds. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Go towards the clouds as you cross them. On the journey up, it will get a little bit dark. You may see memories floating past you. Memories of happy times, perhaps your favorite holiday, favorite event that has happened, something that brought you joy. And as you notice these memories floating by, it could be images, it could be a word, it could be a feeling, a memory. Just acknowledge them. Keep going up higher. You are absolutely safe as we enter the dark universe. Above you is a collection of 4 rings of light. I want you to go through them one by one. Keep going, keep going. Go through all 4 rings of light. Keep going. Keep going. And absolutely safe. As you move through the last one, keep pulling yourself up higher. Setting the intention, we're going up higher. You will soon notice a jelly-like substance up above you. As you come closer, it will be changing colors, iridescent colors, almost looking like a rainbow. I want you to go through this jelly-like substance now. As you come out on the other side, there's going to be beautiful colors, shapes. You may have some childhood memories flickering through, some beautiful moment experiences. Because nearby is the plane of love. But we're not going there today. We're going to keep going up higher, so keep going, keep going. There's this beautiful white light above you. Just pull yourself up, go through the light, or feel like you're being sucked in. As you come out on the other side, everything is white. I will now read the access prayer as we stand at the gates of this massive, beautiful, big Akashic Record Library. And you can repeat in your head after me, or you can let the words embedded integrate into your soul. Feel every word. Dear guides, loved ones, angels, dear Akashic masters and teachers, surround me with your love now, your guidance, your healing energy. May it bypass my analytical mind and go straight to my soul. May it integrate there so that powerful shifts and transformations can occur. I'm ready to connect to source energy. I'm ready to enter my Akashic records. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Are the Akashic records open? You might feel the gate opening. And as you enter the Akashic records, you will be greeted by the Akashic masters and teachers. However you see them, feel them, know of them, allow yourself to experience them in your own unique way. The energy of the prayer might still be going through your body. Notice how you feel when you enter the Akashic Hall. Allowing the masters and teachers to lead the way. You let go of control, you surrender and you trust and you follow them. And they bring you to this special room with all the books. You'll notice there are shelves, so many shelves. You can't count them. It's like an infinite number, rows and rows and rows and rows. And yet immediately you are drawn to a particular shelf. And you will notice there are hundreds and hundreds and thousands of books. And seemingly they all look the same. Just pull your hand in front of you as if you were trying to sense energetically where your book is. Allow yourself to feel where your book is till you see it. Go when it's yours. And take the book. Sit comfortably. You might see a chair, table, might be your favorite chair. Could be a chair that holds a lot of memories. Sit comfortably. And just notice what your book looks like, what it feels like. Is there a smell to it? Notice its weight. The soul has had many, many lifetimes. This book contains all its journeys across all times. To hold the book, ask the Akashic Masters and Teachers to help you find the right page. Ask them, what is love? What does it mean to me? And allow the book to open up. And as the pages are flying across, you might notice snippets, pictures, words perhaps, from this lifetime, past lifetimes. And then the book stops on a particular page as you ask the question again, what is love? What does it mean to me this time? Take the time to witness the answer. The energy of the sensations, the feelings, the medicine of me. Time to close the book now. And it just lands back where it needs to go. And in this moment, I want you to thank the Akashic Masters and Teachers for this experience, for this opportunity to be here, to see whatever you have seen, experience whatever you have experienced. And at the very least, you are sitting in beautiful, loving, unconditional, loving energy that will stay with you the next 48 hours. Beautiful, calm energy. So now, just bring your consciousness back to where you were, where you started, your room, your place, the chair that you sit to, bed. And just like that, you're coming back, you're noticing, you're slipping back with your consciousness into this physical body, like as if it was a sleeping bag, seeing the feet going all the way down, the fingers. Even though we never left the body, that sensation might be felt by some, sliding into a sleeping bag. Now just bring your awareness to your root chakra. Notice a golden cord drop down from the root chakra. Allow it to go all the way down to the ground, deep into the ground, deep into the ground. As it pushes its way through soil, darker and darker, till it reaches the center of the earth, surrounded by this beautiful, fresh, unearthed soil. It connects to the center of the earth, that core. And it expands to the width of your body, and you can feel this pull, this tug. It's like you're being anchored to the ground, nice and firm. As it comes back, it's stronger, it's wider. Goes through your root like a beam of light, going through all your chakras, going up past the third eye, past the crown, going up higher and higher. Like a beam of light, it goes through the soul star and connects you to the source. You are now connected to the source and to Mother Gaia. You are both here to have a physical human experience, be here in this physical world, but also be connected to source, as above, so below. So with this connection, bring yourself back, feeling stronger, feeling good. You can move your fingers, your toes, your muscles. And when you're ready, you can take a nice deep breath in, out, and open your eyes. Yeah. So now I'll give you a couple of minutes to write down anything that you have experienced or felt when you asked the question, what is life and what it means to you. And while you're doing this, I hope that this was helpful to give you an idea of how you can connect. Like I said, the connecting part is not hard. It's whether you believe that you are connected, that you receive guidance from this beautiful divine source, and that you know that you can go back any whichever way, anytime. And of course, if you find that you want to delve deeper and you want to learn specific ways, how to heal, how to ask the right questions, and the other ways, perhaps, if this felt a little bit harder for you because maybe you're not clairvoyant yet. I will be running a group seminar spread over 4 sessions. And also, if you want to be part, if you're actually local to me, the session that I will run on at the end of September is going to be more around receiving specific guidance, and I will help you to receive it or to understand it. So unlike teaching you how to do it, we're actually going to tap in and receive guidance for you, see what comes through, and just again be in that energy. But here right now you have everything that technique that you need to know to access the Akashic records, and you can do it. You can, of course, always access it via guided meditations, but if you find it challenging to follow that, like here now, it would be so good for you to learn how to do it. Maybe through the channeling, the writing, maybe through projecting your consciousness so that you can do it anytime with your eyes open and you don't have to go into meditation. I just want to check with everyone whether we have any questions before we conclude this session. And again, just you can unmute yourself. You can type it in the chat. We have a question. Can you please explain the difference between your higher self and Akashic Records information, which is better? Thanks. I personally believe that there is no such thing as this is better or this is worse, because over there, everyone works to help you down here. Some people, higher self is your soul. Some people don't like the idea that they have to ask other beings what they need to do. They feel they have the wisdom, which is true, because when you can connect to your higher self, that information flows through from the Akashic Records, but through you. And we've had this question before, not question, but I guess this beautiful comment here around that this person was already accessing the Akashic Records without knowing it. So higher self is your soul that brings through the guidance. But I believe all the guidance comes through from the Akashic Records. To me, this is the God energy as well. The Akashic Records existed before the Big Bang, and we could have another beautiful whole hour talking about that and exploring it. But does that answer your question? Yeah. So it's what feels good, comfortable for you, but I believe it all comes from the same source. It's just a different channel. Do we have any other questions? That was a fantastic question. I love that. That will help a lot of people, I think, because we get sometimes muddled up and confused, because us humans like to know exactly who am I talking to? Who is this guy? What are the Akashic Records? Am I talking to God? Can't be, because I'm not anything special. And then we will conclude this. I see someone still typing a question, so we'll still do time. And of course, whether you're watching this or listening to this, it means I have mastered the technological side of this. Yay for me, but also bonus for you. So if you have any questions, wherever you're watching or listening to this, please leave a question or tag me or message me or email me, and I'll be more than happy to help you. I feel like Marty McFly leaving a message from the future to a past self, if you are watching this. Now, oh, we're not typing. Everyone's good? Everyone's got good questions? Everything, nothing? Oh, there's a question, sorry. This has helped me understand what energy I am accessing, and now I know can access more, like you said, their business records. Yeah. So it's all from that, and you can access it. And that's fantastic that this helped you so much. Now, if we were in a longer session, I would ask you, was there a difference between the first way you've answered the question around love and the second? Was it? Yes, because generally when we open the Akashic Records, it is a more expanded one. It's not a specific, it's not a to-do list. It's not like, well, love is when two people, are fond of each other and they draw hearts in the air, It is more expanded. And when you receive this answer, even though you feel like, like maybe those of you who were doing this think, why do I even need to know this? But when that's like that, trigger, bring that love through. And so it's about the experience, whether you saw it, whether you've experienced it, whether it brought some memories, whether it helped you to connect the dots somewhere. So that's a beautiful question to start with. All right, thank you for being here, everyone. Thank you to those who showed up, and everyone else. My pleasure. Like I said, if
Thanks,
you have any
Kasha.
questions,
Thank you. It was brilliant. It was a really good session. I went very deep in that one, so I just wanted to let you know that it was a really, really nice, great session. And it was definitely the analytical mind when you first asked that question, because I wrote some things down, and then when I was in the Akashic Records, it surprised me what come through. So I had a great session. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, on that note, I hope you have a good night, sleep well, and let the energies from the Akashic Records wave through for the next at least 48 hours, unless you go in again. Bye, everyone.